This is ACOFAE. Laura Marie and Jessica Marie proudly present A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, a podcast. Fair warning, everything the hosts say is explicit, full of spoilers and adult content and shall not be used against them. They have opinions. Let's try not to drag anyone for expressing themselves and just have fun for an hour. We all deserve it.
This episode contains spoilers from The Mummy with mentions of The Craft, Jumanji, and The Mummy Returns. Enjoy!
Hi, everybody, and welcome to A Court of Fandoms and Exploration, your weekly deep dive into the fantasy, literature, and fandoms that we love. I'm Laura Marie.
And I'm Jessica Marie.
And today we are discussing the 1999 classic, The Mummy,
which is known to be the movie of everybody's awakening. Laura, let's start off our episode like we do with our typical movie episodes and with our movies and fandoms. What was your first experience watching this? Did you see the movies? Did you see it at home? Like, what was that? Do you remember it?
Okay, so let's say everyone's awakening. Everyone's awakening. Every person that sees this movie comes out of it changed. So let's just put it there. And that was the case for me. I saw this movie in the theater, as you do. I saw this in the theater, and it was amazing. It was fantastic. It was fun. It was one of those movies where you come out of it and you're like, I want to see it again. Like, you're smiling, you're quoting it, you're having just a great time. And it is one of those kind of memories where you're like, yeah, that was a good time at the movies. And I do think that those are becoming few and far between nowadays. So watching this, reminiscing, and kind of going through the fun facts was really, really lovely and a fun thing to do. Tell me about you.
I did not see this in the theater, but I did see this at home. It was like one of those movies that we rented at home. And I remember it being like the family movie. We were all sitting down to watch this. And I don't know about anybody else, but I'm the type of person where if I'm getting flustered, especially when I'm younger and I'm around like family members, I walk away. I walk away because I'm either blushing or I can't watch these things with my parents there. So it was definitely, I remember that, especially when Patricia Velasquez walks onto the scene. I'm like, oh, the movie just started. It's fine. I'm just going to walk out of here because I should not be watching this with parents in the room. But I remember liking it. I remember having fun. But then something happened in my childhood where I just guess I don't remember anything beyond, because I wasn't scared. But rewatching this, it was the best memories of like, oh, I remember that part. Oh, yes, that part. Like, how do you not get giddy when anybody comes onto the screen?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And shout out to the special effects here. The 90s, when special effects had to try, the special effects still slap.
Which that part right out the bat, you're just like, wow, it's different. Like when you watch certain things, you're like, okay, this kind of aged poorly, but this didn't. And it feels like there was a lot of practical effects too. And it just made me miss the conversations that are talking about physical media, and when there was a DVD home screen and you had the bonus content and all the behind the scenes. And poor on me, I didn't look on YouTube or anything to see if any of those for The Mummy had translated online. But like, how fun was it to think about, I remember our episode when we were talking about practical effects with The Craft, and it made me think of all of that for this title. I mean, there was like some of the most basic not even special effects. They filmed on location. They were in the Sahara. They filmed in Morocco. Fun fact, they had kidnapping insurance on all of the cast and crew that the director took out, and he didn't tell anybody till after they were filmed and wrapped. But it's those little things. of movie magic that are still very alive and well in this film.
And this film, The Mummy, the first one, 1999, Jess, who is in this movie?
So we have Rachel Weisz. She plays Evie, and we have Brenden Fraser, who plays Rick O'Connell. We have, the actor who plays Imhotep. I full stopped and I had to IMDb because at first I was like, there's no way I didn't remember Billy Zane was this. I thought it was. I was like, Billy Zane packed on some muscle. It is not. It is not Billy Zane. But can you see it?
I can see it. I can see it, especially since Billy Zane has been bald ever since Titanic. I can see it.
Yeah. So I feel like there are key players, but then we have Evie's brother, Jonathan. And then I couldn't catch his name, and I've watched this twice for this episode.
He's not named.
Oh, you know who I was going to say? I was going to say the dad who was in Jumanji. His character.
Oh, the curator.
Yes, but I don't remember his name. So I guess the curator, he was the dad in Jumanji. And I was like, oh, Jumanji dad is here. Like
You're
original
right.
Jumanji from the 90s, not the remakes with The Rock and Jack Black.
You're right. I don't think he is also named. No, he's not named. I was going to say the Magi.
Oh, yes. Yeah, he's just the Magi.
He's just the Magi. He is not given his name until movie number 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Fun fact. Those are absolutely our characters. Jess, what was it like coming back to Egypt, having read Nefertiti and kind of having a little bit of history there?
It was so exciting, but it was also crazy to think, because I had texted you about this too, is that we have our flashback to like 3,000 years ago, or like 3,000 BCE. And then we have present day, and present day is the 1920s. And all I could remember is we don't know if they even found Nefertiti stuff yet. We don't even know. And the lack of preservation with all of the things that they're finding was like, I have to suspend belief right now, because even in today's day, we're recording in 2024, for this episode, I'm like, it's only been maybe like 100 years-ish, give or take, since we had all of these findings. So at this time, everything's like carelessly being explored. And one thing, and I know you're going to be like, well, let's get into it. One thing is, just like Nefertiti, Rachel's character, Evie, she saves the fucking day, because of course she does. She and they try to, what do they know? They have a woman leading her. Yeah. Okay, full circle. In Egypt. Like, it's exactly the setup that we would need. And why? This is just like a general, of course, because we live in a patriarchal society. Why is that not drilled in more?
Why isn't it? All these questions. I love this. So let's start out with the opening of our movie. Our movie opens in Thebes. We're introduced to Imhotep, the high priest, Anck-su-no-moon, Pharaoh's mistress, her lover, all of this stuff. Okay, here's the thing. Imhotep was a real person. He was the architect of the first pyramid that we have. That was about 3,000 years before Seti the First, which is after Akhenaten and Nefertiti. So it's just like, like
the fact that they had Egyptologists on set, but you're like, question, accuracy, because they did have an Egyptologist. We're going to be sprinkling in little facts and, of course, our fun facts at the end, like we usually do. But these are like questions.
Yeah, and it's also like, here's the other thing too, Stephen Sommer. There is the director. There is so much rich history to pull from. We couldn't choose like the right people here. We couldn't choose one of Seti's priests and curse him. Like,
yeah, I mean, I guess that's what makes it. I mean, historical fiction. You have history there.
Or we're just piecemealing everything.
Yeah, we're just kind of
come on.
We're like, especially because the people exist. And we're not even using the same people in the same timeline.
It's just one of those irritating things because they're so adamant of like, Seti the first. And you're like, okay, well, all right, I can Google that. All right, I know where that is. They're like, Imhotep. You're like, no. But neither here nor there. This is a romantasy adventure. So we are suspending our belief here. Okay. We know that actresses hate to get body painted, and I don't think that's any different here from our actress of Anaxuna Moon who had 4 hours of body paint to do this, only for it to be messed up on purpose on screen as part of the plot because someone touched you. That's some hard shit though, honestly. But really, I have always thought this. Why did you let him touch you? You know better. I
know. And there's a couple things at the beginning of the storyline where Imhotep, I'm like, okay, you both are down bad for each other. We get that. We respect it. It happens. I get everybody. I even get the killing of the pharaoh, and she reclaims her body like, this is mine. He's not going to have I get all of that stuff. I don't... I feel like I have a little empathy for him. They're like, we'll find each other in the next life. And he has this curse put on him. He's only evil because a curse was put on him. And nobody's talking about that. And I don't know if that makes me be like, oh, well, then maybe he's morally great.
No, okay. But you bring up a really good point because he plays this, and that was part of like the interviews that were happening when they were talking about this when it came out, is like the actor that plays like the mummy, Imhotep, plays it as a straight like tragedy, right? This is the tragedy of his life. He plays this role as like a serious role, not as like an action comedy. Because in his mind, his lover died right in front of him. He was fucking cursed. He had horrible things done to him. He's resurrected. He didn't ask for that shit. And then he's on a mission, right? He just wants to see to fulfill his vow to his girlfriend. And if you, no, it's movie 2. I can't say shit about Anaxuna Moon. That's movie 2. Cause that is in and of itself something. But here, it's just like, circumstances.
Yes. Because even when okay, and this is like a spoiler for first 5 minutes, I guess. He's like, you know what? We're going to take her body. This is the love of my life. I know her wishes. She told me before she unalived herself, hey, you're the only one who can bring me back. And in the middle of her resurrection that he was performing, he gets made and gets caught by the Pharaoh's guards. Pharaoh's dead, by the way. So they're still really fucking loyal to this person who's dead. There's not even a new Pharaoh that they should be giving loyalties to. And it's like so now it's like, I made a promise to her that I was going to, he just feels like a boyfriend who's like, man, I can't let her down. So when he comes back, that's still the first thing on his mind, because that was he was cursed alive and buried alive in his sarcophagus.
You want to know why those guards are coming after him so hard?
Please.
You want to know who's Pharaoh right now?
Is it not?
It's Ramesses the Great.
Oh,
Ramesses the Great. The Great. Ramesses the Great. He's like, get those motherfuckers. That man, Ramesses the Great. Okay, just saying, for all our listeners out here, just saying, Editor Sam and I went to Cairo, went to the Egyptian Museum there in Cairo, and we saw the mummy of fucking Ramesses the Great, and he still got red hair on his fucking head, and it's crazy.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's crazy. He lived till he was in his 90s. It's insane. Okay, moving on.
Not moving on now that you bring up like things about going to Cairo. How about when they were here and we have the pyramids who are all three are fully built and now we're building the Sphinx right outside of the pyramids. We know that that's not factual either. And that's like a new thing. Like that was very much what we were made aware of that in 1999 when this movie came out.
Yep. Okay. So
a romantasy historical fiction continues.
A romantasy historical fiction continues. Imhotep gets made. He gets made by Pharaoh's guards, and so Imhotep being the high priest of Pharaoh. Imhotep is cursed with the bad curse, with the very bad curse. And what is it called? The Hamdai, the ancient curse. He's cursed, and then all of his priests are mummified alive. And those are two separate things. So just as you say, Imhotep is only evil, only immortal, only powerful like this because of this curse, which was put on him by, at this point, I would say, Ramses, which is interesting if you want to get into it.
Yeah, that's why and then to make him out as the bad guy of, oh, you don't want to resurrect him. A curse of plagues will be upon the city. Well, then why did you put that curse on him? You could have just mummified him with everybody else. You're the one, because like you said, the Hamdai, it's the ritual that involves cutting out his tongue, mummifying him alive, and sealing him in a sarcophagus filled with carnivorous scarab beetles. So that's like beyond just the live mummification, which is also really funny how you have a movie called The Mummy, and he's like, but his guards were mummified. He had a curse called Hamdai. So, but again, if we want to appeal to the masses, people might not run to the movies to see the curse of Hamdai.
There you go. I would run to the movies to see the Magi because our head Magi is so hot. He's so hot. Oh my God. We meet him and he's like all covered up, right? He has his face covering and like he's covering his hair. And then at the end of the movie, his hair is wild and free and he has like this big gun strapped across his chest. It's like, oh God. He was the one. But the Magi are there to guard the casket or the sarcophagus of Imhotep, who is buried at the statue of Anubis in Hamunaptra, the city of the dead, forever. Because if he ever was awakened, then plagues upon Egypt or whatever. Again, though, like why risk that? But whatever, we're not. That's
the part I don't get, and this is the whole accountability thing. It's like, we didn't have to do it. You could have just killed him. And we could have just kept going on. No curses on a city. Nothing involved.
Nope. But you know what? I am a spiteful bitch, so I understand cursing the bloodline. So I get it.
Yeah, that part I get. But like, you're in this circumstance, it just feels like you're fucking yourself over.
Yeah.
But I guess we're in a fuck around and find out era.
Yeah. And also, you're dead. You don't have to deal with the consequences. It's not like they're dragging you back to life. All right. We have now cut into 1923. This is 3,000 years later. The Magi are still there watching men fight over Hamunaptra. And we are introduced to Brenden, Fraser as Rick O'Connell, and Benny. And they are fighting. They are back to back. People are coming. The Magi are coming and attacking. And first introduction to Benny. Your strength gives me strength. I love it. Benny is a very interesting character. He's a controversial character, but his one-liners are fucking zingers.
He really bothered me, obviously. And then again, I feel like I had a lot of empathy for once with him. And I was like, you know what? But he's about survival. He's not about, Benny's priority is Benny. And he's also smart as fuck, because you're going to tell me not only does he speak English, he speaks Mandarin, he speaks German, he speaks ancient Egyptian, he speaks Hebrew. And that's only like right up front off the top of my head of the 5 languages that he knows, that he's like going through them to try to like speak with Imhotep, to speak. He is like, he's a linguist. He's a polyglot. And I'm just like so jealous, because how cool.
Yep. Talent, you know, scamming is a talent. You got to practice it. So, you know, we love a scammer. Benny abandons the line, as you do, and he runs away. But so does the commander. Brendan's like, hold the line. We have our big battle. There's, you know, big gunshot battles. We are running to our statue where, you know, oh my goodness, there's voices, there's faces in the sand. Everybody runs away. Very interesting stuff. The effects, as we say, still hold up. It's very fun. And then Brenden is left alone and is staggering out, and they don't kill him. The desert will kill him. Well, it don't. So.
He's a strong one, that one, is what the Magi says. And, you know, before we continue, I have something that I picked up in the beginning of both the beginning of ancient times and beginning of present day. Does this follow the pattern, Laura?
Does this follow the pattern? Here is my honest to goodness thoughts on it. I've never thought about it.
I believe that, and I didn't till at my rewatch, and I go, it's just like, I don't want to say it's programmed, because usually sometimes I'm like, I'm just vibing. I don't care if there's a pattern to follow or not. But the very beginning part of the pattern, you start off with the scarab beetles, you start off with the curse, and that's how it ends when we're with Imhotep. And it's the same way with present day, where Benny runs off, Benny hides, Benny finds a alcove, and you have Brenden saying like, hello. And you have it happens at the end. Benny's in the alcove, whatever happens to him. And Brenden Fraser's like, don't let the doors hit you on the way out. Like, I got my shit to do too.
Yep, you nailed that. I have to say, every time I watch this movie, my brain goes off. And I'm going, wow, Rachel Weisz is so pretty with these 90s eyebrows.
The 90s eyebrows. I was hoping you were going to bring it up.
They are so pencil thin. They are so long. They are so just classic, amazing. She's in these glasses when we meet her, in this skirt. Like, oh my
God, her curly
she's
bangs
perfect. Her
and like
curly,
the tousled librarian look.
Classic. It's classic. I know this did a lot of things for a lot of people. Oh my goodness. So she's also klutzy, because of course she is. She knocks down her entire library there. And, you know, why do I put up with you? Says the curator. You put up with me because I can do this, and this. He's like, I put up with you because our parents were our greatest patrons.
Because you're a Nepo baby. He said. Because again, 1920s, and she's a woman. Because I even noticed that when she goes with her brother, like her brother is her escort, and she's in the Sahara. She has to be spoken for. So there's like a lot of little things. You know, that library shot was done in one take.
I did.
We're just sprinkling in fun facts.
And it would have taken an entire day to reset if they had screwed it up. And I believe that.
Which is also really interesting to think, like, that was a perfect domino effect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what they get paid the big bucks for, you know? Right? Like,
yeah.
You gotta do that. Speaking of Jonathan, her brother, I have seen his penis in Spartacus. That's gross. Jonathan, is hiding in a sarcophagus. Don't you respect the dead? I wish I would join them.
Such a brother thing to do, to just jump out of a sarcophagus. Again, no respect to all of these things that they're touching. Could you imagine your fingers, like your oils, your present days items, touching these things that are over 3,000 years old?
No.
Again, so you have to suspend belief. You have to suspend,
yep.
Otherwise you get boggled down with all of that.
We have here kind of our first inklings of plot. The Bembridge scholars have rejected Evie's application. She doesn't have enough experience in the field. She's very upset by this. And Jonathan's like, here's some junk that I found. What about this? What about this? It actually turns out to be something, this puzzle box. There's a map. The map goes to the curator. The curator is actually in on the whole thing and burns the map to Hamunaptra, the city of the dead, Seti the first. But then we end up in Cairo prison. Who do we meet in Cairo prison?
We meet Rick O'Connell, who is our American adventurer. And I don't want to say scammer, but like opportunist.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of a little bit of a scammer with a heart of gold, maybe.
I don't know. Yeah, because like, what is it? A scammer knows a scammer. He was calling Benny out because they're ultimately on a hunt for some treasure. They want some gold. There's some, he knows nothing about a curse, but he knows that there's a treasure somewhere. And everybody is on this hunt, especially the Americans, because of course, for this treasure and to claim it.
Yes. But first, Rick has to get out of prison. And Evie's like, can you tell me how to get to Hamunaptra? Can you tell me? Can you tell me? And he kisses her through the bars. And he goes, get me the hell out of here. And then we have our warden. We love our warden. He's very funny, very stereotypical, but that's his character. Evie bargains for Rick. Rick is hung. He is hung. He could have died there.
He almost did in real life. They had to resuscitate him because he really almost got strangled.
Yep. Whoops. But Evie makes a deal. The warden gets 25%. He'll come with them to Hamunaptra and cuts him down. Huzzah. And then we're at the port of Cairo. We get on our boat and Brenden Fraser cleans up nicely. Whoa. She's so like, good. She's like, well, I think he's like a dirty, unwashed scoundrel. And he's like, who are you talking about? And the wind's like in his hair. It's like, whoa.
Toss, toss.
Toss, toss.
Toss, toss, toss.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And just as you say, the Americans are also going to Hamunaptra. How are they doing that? Fucking Benny is the guide. So, and Rick is like, fucking Benny, what are you doing? Are you just going to leave him out there? He's like, no, I can't. These Americans, they're
too smart.
Yeah. Half now, half when I bring them back. I can't even like drop them like it's all the way back. I get the rest of it. Fuck. And Rick's like, you gotta do the whole thing yet? He's like, yeah, I gotta do the whole fucking thing. So it's funny. Scammers love scammers. I think that's just the best. I like though Rick, relax, I'm the map, because we have an attack here because the Magi are on about this. They know what's going up. But we also have sweet moments with camels, which are not sweet animals. Why did you kiss me? Because I thought I was going to die. All these
seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah,
I guess if you're going to die and you already know what the consequences be damned, right?
Oh my gosh. It's all very funny. Of course, this is all a callback to Indiana Jones. The quote though, the quote though, hey, Benny, you're on the wrong side of the river. It's classic. It's the one that everybody knows. It's right here. Lovely.
I didn't realize that this is the quote that everybody
knows that quote. Everybody knows that.
Now I'm like, what? Now I feel like I'm missing out on life because nobody's ever been like, you're on the wrong side of the river.
On the wrong side of the river. Everybody, and you have to say it like that. River. It is the thing that everybody knows from The Mummy. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay. So we are racing our camels, right? Yes.
Yeah.
We're racing our camels, because all of our stuff is, in the river. We have Evie in traditional clothing with a nice smoky eye, a little fantasticness. She looks amazing. We have our race into Hamunaptra. Hot, with the camel.
Yes. When all I could think of was like behind the scenes and I'm like, oh my gosh, this would never be allowed today with all of the, because like fun fact, if you don't know this, if you have live animals on set, they could also only work so many hours. You can only do so many things. I don't think the crops would be there, and you have people on set who are like, just like you have intimacy coordinators, there's like animal coordinators for like labor laws and how you can treat animals. So like everything that happened, I don't think existed or came to be yet in 99. Or probably 98 when this is filmed.
Well, she books it. She wins the race.
And he's so impressed. He loves his little British manic pixie dream girl. He loves her so much.
He's like, oh my God, there we go. So the Americans lose, obviously, Evie wins. And Jess, here's your quote. Do they know something we don't know? What could they know? They're led by a woman. What does a woman know?
And then she's like, and here's all these fun facts, and this is what they did, and this is how they lit everything up, and you just have to hit it at the right angle here. Brother, you're being stupid. And he's like, he's a brother who's dumb and naive. I think it's more naive than dumb, but like heart of gold, because he also knows how much certain things mean to Evie. Like when he found a key, he's like, I don't know if I had found something, but like, will this make you less mad at me? He's like, he likes to be on her good side, but also giving her a little shit.
And he's also one of the like main drivers of the plot too, because he is the one that drops the sarcophagus down right in front of them, because he's the one that's hitting things around with the axe as a golf club, and he knocks it down. And I was going to say also from the beginning with when they're on the boat. He's the one, yes with the key, yes with the map, when they're on the boat and they're making bets. So it helps, like you said, like he's moving the plot along since day one of this whole thing. Yeah, and he gets like no credit for that, but we give him credit for that. We also get the credit of, oh, what is that? What's that noise? It sounds like bugs. Oh, I hate bugs. That won't be important later.
I was like, that's foreshadowing.
That won't be there. Where are we? We're underground. This is where they made the mummies. I like that everybody's kind of scared, and they're, they point the guns at each other when the Americans and them like meet each other, down there. It is very fun. There are other places to dig. I love that Evie's like, you know what? We don't have to like fight over this, gentlemen. It's a whole big thing. There's other places to dig. And that's how we get our sarcophagus. We get our mummy. Jess, would you open that sarcophagus?
No. But again,
No.
like this is the 1920s. They were dumb and still discovering things. There was nothing in today of 2024, the year we're recording, that would possess me to open all of that. Even if it had nothing to do with curses, all of like the sealed diseases that are in there.
Absolutely not. Absolute.
Oh, and even her in the caves, like taking down the cobwebs with her bare hands. What?
Yep. No, thank you. No, thank you. While this is happening, our warden has tried to steal the scarab, so they have come alive and they have eaten him. That's very scary. They ate him from the inside out, and everyone's like, that's weird. Okay, moving on. They don't really give a shit about that. They also
it's because they don't give a shit about him. And
yes,
that's why they
exactly
disregarded it. Whereas you're like, no, this is very pertinent information, because nobody figures it out till Brenden, Rick O'Connell is cutting it out of Jonathan. And he's like, get rid of it. Not like that. But we have an hour left of the movie and you don't find out you don't think to look into it later? That these are still alive after it's been 3,000 years? Please.
Yep. So the Book of the Dead is found and taken, and we have the Magi appearing and warning everybody, you must leave or die. We have a very sexy fight practice. What's a place like me doing in a girl like this?
She's so
We're
drunk.
Drinking. I'm going to kiss you now. And Rick is like,
He's like, bet. And she passes out, which like so relatable.
So relatable. We get it. She is a English rose in the Egyptian sun. Bless. She wasn't wearing sunscreen. So we have then, these scenes move very quickly, very quickly. The next thing we know, Americans are digging and getting diggers, blasted with salt acid and finding the chest and finding the canopic jars, death on swift wings. And here's our curse. This is these are Anaxinamun's organs. This is our curse. The curator reads the curse out loud. And you know what? Benny's down for Benny. Benny goes, you know what? No. Whatever this is. No.
Yeah, he's like, no, the whole time.
No.
Do you not know about the curse? What about the city? Nobody's listening to me. I did what I needed to do.
Yeah. He's like,
and for a bit, like later on, Rick is like that too. He goes, I got you there and I got you back. That was what I fulfilled my promise. So this I am a part of no we.
No we. So I respect the hell out of Benny for that. Real bad. Because here's the thing, Jess, I would also not open this fucking sarcophagus, especially when they say juicy mummy. No, thank you. Juicy mummy. Disgusting. But that's what it is. Imhotep has been in there, right? Like, he's gross.
Clawing himself out. I felt like I was thinking of Buffy. Poor Buffy.
Yeah, for sure.
Buffy spoilers.
Gotta dig yourself out of your grave. You got the fingernails in there. It's a whole thing. If he is ever awakened, he will bring back the 10 plagues of Egypt. The curse will be triggered. There's a bunch of scarab beetles in there with him because we know what happened. Like, that's all terrible, right? But then Evie, takes the book of the dead that has been with the American curator, and then she says the thing. She says the second thing that is very famous in The Mummy. The thing is, it's just a book. No harm ever came from reading a book. Ba-ba-ba-bum.
Well, yes, but also, I feel like on a deeper level, it's like, no harm ever came from reading a book. You know how well educated we are because we read? The whole, that's where it's it's deeper because how much we learn, how much we gain, how strong we can be if we're educated people. Too late for that, I guess.
Here's the thing. As an educated person, would you just start reading a black magical book willy-nilly out loud?
No. There's a lot of things these people are doing where I'm like, why are we doing any of this? There's, for people who are researchers, there's not a lot of research going on, to decide, because even when they're trying to decipher the hieroglyph, I think this is what it says. You keep that shit inside. Mm-hmm. And then when you go, we're not going to say these words out loud because this is what it translates to. So we're going to take a step back.
Yeah, because what happens? The mummy fucking awakens. That's what. Locusts, wind, what have we done? The mummy. So here's the thing. Evie is kind of responsible for this. She kind of did this. I mean, the curse was already triggered. It was already triggered, but she did it, though.
She crossed the line with it. She got there.
Yeah, she got there.
She owns it. She owns it because she says, I did this.
I need to fix it.
I need to fix it.
She does, but it's also like, okay. All right. So what happens? Imhotep is a decomposing mummy, and he is then bound by the curse to go and murder all of the people that opened the box that was related to the curse. So then he murders all the Americans and the curator, and in doing that brings himself to full regeneration. It's all very gross, right? It's all very gross. Part of it is very sad, and I'll say which part of it is sad. But when the mummy gets the American that has the glasses, he has bad eyeballs. So when he runs into Evie, he's like, yo, Anaxinamun, hey, my girl.
I didn't put together that it was because he had glasses. That's such an attention to detail.
Right? Like, he's like, and this is played out in movie 2. Spoiler for that, I guess. But like, everybody was in the palace, right? Everybody's in the palace together.
Right, okay.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, that would make sense. Like, switching them would make sense. Like, sure, if you're squint, like, if you have bad eyes, no glasses, sure. Like, yeah, makes total sense. So then he's like, come with me and Ox to the moon, all this stuff. Rick comes in. There's the very famous, like, roaring mummy, roaring Rick scene. Again, everybody knows that. And he shoots him. We have no mortal weapon can kill him. And the Magi, we have to hunt him. This is your fault. Fuck you, basically. And then we have Benny and all of the religions scene. The language of the slaves, you could be useful. Where are the jars? Again, Benny's out for Benny. What can I say? What can I say? Nothing.
Yeah, like, would that be you?
No. Yes. Well, no, I'd probably just shit myself and die. But if I had brains, then yeah, probably. But like, honestly, first thought would not be to pull out religious iconography and just start ciphering through. That is another level.
Yeah. Under pressure.
Yeah, under pressure. Yeah. It's another level. I respect the hell out of that. I got nothing. I got nothing to say. Like, good on him. Good on him. But then again, Benny ties himself to Imhotep, and he says later to Rick, like, I'm fucking immune. So, I mean.
Yeah, well,
what do you want me to do?
Yeah, he goes, as long as I'm useful for him, I'm untouchable.
Yeah, so, like, it is what it is, my guy. It is what it is. So we cut to Cairo, and we're in this, like, frantic packing stage. Like, this is Evie, just as you said, taking accountability. Like, we need to stay. And Rick is like, get the fuck out of here. We gotta go. Like, and there's this whole, like, situation happening. It's very fun. The Americans are also packing up to leave, and we're introduced to our old drunk pilot, Winston. We love Winston. What a sweet little man. I know. R.I.P. Winston. What a sweet little man. We have more plague, we have more plagues coming. There's fire, everything that is happening. Okay. So the American that had his eyes taken also had his tongue taken. And then he sits down with like Benny and everybody, and the mummy is coming to finish the job, and he's trying to have like a very civil conversation without having a tongue, and he's like being very poised and like wiping at his mouth with a napkin. I can't fucking watch that scene. I start crying. I have to leave the room. It is very like painful to see in this movie. And I don't know why. I also have a very sad moment in fucking Dumb and Dumber that I cannot watch, and I have to leave the goddamn room, and I think about it constantly. So that's a me thing. It's a me thing. I understand it. I know. It's just one of those things. Okay. But after this poor man is sucked dry of life, Imhotep is basically regenerated. There's just like a little bit of cheek and things out there, but fleshiness. But we are introduced to the fact that for some reason he's afraid of cats because cats are the guardians of the underworld. It's not. But we're romantic adventure.
I know cats are respected in Egyptian culture. I know that they're respected. They are held to kind of like a deity level because they give them the same respect. And there is with their burials.
A cat god, Bast, Mut, like all of this. But it's Anubis is.
We like Anubis too.
He's a jackal. Okay. Anyway. Moving on. Anyway. It works here. The cat, off he goes because cats are the guardians of the underworld. Sure.
I know they protect against like evil spirits. Here's the thing where I'm like, there is truth to some of what's happening. So why are we not sharing that more?
And also, why are we just not being accurate? It's very easy to be accurate, you know?
Especially, why would you have an Egyptologist on set if you had no intention of being accurate?
Yeah, it's like, come on. So we go back to the museum and we learn that the Magi and the curator are in on it. We kind of figured the curator was in on it, but here's our very, very sexy Magi being like, yo, we're in on it. Yeah, like,
It reminds me of The Fifth Element, where you remember you have the one person who's overseeing everything the whole time. That's what this is. I don't know why I just connected it now.
It's good shit. It's good shit. So Evie has been designated the human sacrifice for the resurrection of Anck-su-namun. So then we go back to our hotel in Cairo, and then we have the famous throw Evie over the shoulder scene and drop her in the bed, storm away, and close the doors behind you. Yes, thank you, Rick. We love it. We love it. We love it. We love it. And he says, do not let her go out. Do not let anybody in. You know, get in it.
We love a man who takes control.
He's got a plan. Me and Jonathan are going to the Egyptologist to go see what's going on there. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. And then we have the very funny scene of the Egyptologist's office and Benny like really going through it looking for the book, and Rick just throws a chair at him. It's very funny. He just picks up a chair and just like chucks it at him and he just falls over. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. But this is where we get the plan. Benny says like, yo, he's looking for the book. He's going to resurrect his girlfriend and he wants your sister as the sacrifice. That's what's going to happen. The Egyptologist gets, my note says husked because he was husked. And then the bees come. The bees come from the mouth of our mummy, and all of the Americans then eventually are husked.
Husked.
Yes, they are husked. But then we have the sand through the keyhole of creepy Imhotep coming to kiss Evie in bed. No, thank you. No, thank you. But our cat scares him away. Thank you.
Poor Evie. She has not had consent at all this whole time.
At all. She looks fine as hell in this black little nightie, though. No complaints. Very nice.
Good for her. I mean, I know that probably colors were, they might not have. No, I can't say that because it was the 1920s. Colors are definitely vibrant. But you know what? It goes with her MO. And I respect anybody who are like, you know what? This looks cute. I'm going to take it in every single color. And that's what she did.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We love it. So now everybody is running away from our hotel. We're going to the museum because we have to figure out where the other book, the book of Ra, is. We have to figure out where that is. But now there is boils and sores in all of the populace. And Evie, this is where the Bembridge Scholars plotline comes full circle. Evie is translating. She's at this lab and she's translating and she's seeing that the Bembridge Scholars mixed up where the books were in Horus and Anubis statues. So she translates and finds out that the book that they're looking for, the Book of Ra, is at the statue of Horus in Hamunaptra. And she's like, take that, Bembridge Scholars. Basically like, fuck you, guy. And I do like how everyone's like, we got to go all the way fucking back there. Jesus.
And time is of the essence because even when she's translating this, she's like, patience is a virtue. And they were like, not here it is. Like we're on a time. And how are we going to get there in the time frame that we need to?
Yeah. And they enlist Winston because Evie is taken and she's taken by Imhotep. And she's like, you know what? If he makes me in a mummy, you, Rick, you're the first one I'm coming after.
Real.
That's real shit. That's real shit. That's real shit. And it's very funny because she goes with Imhotep and Benny and they're just like sucked up into the sandstorm and then they're just like dropped like very unceremoniously in front of Hamunaptra.
And you could tell that she's also, even though they know that this is where she knows that this is where they need to go. She's also defeated, like, again, we got to do this shit all over again.
again, really? Like, ugh. So how do Rick and Jonathan and the Magi get there? They enlist Winston, and Winston flies them to Hominoptera and dies while doing it, which is what he wanted. He dies with a smile on his face and disappears into quicksand, which is surprising. There's just one little patch of quicksand, but he goes down how he wanted.
What I'm surprised with is, something that we always talk about in the books that we read is, Laura, you're on record saying you love when they do the thing. You love when the thing is done in a book, especially when characters are killed off. Like, we hate it, but we also like you committed. And for a movie that was for all intents and purposes, this is supposed to be a standalone movie. They were killing people left and right. People were not being unhusked. They were dead. They were dead. So, I mean, except for my two assumptions, because I saw The Mummy Returns once and I remember not a thing from it. So we'll see.
Yeah. So far, dead as all fuck. Dead as all fuck. So what happens? All right, what happens? We're going back into the pyramid. Evie is tied up to the sacrificial slab. She's got her arms up in the cuffs. I'm sure that did it for a lot of people. She's, going like this. It's really something. Jonathan gets a scarab in his arm. It goes up to his shoulder. They pop that shit out. We're just setting the scene. It's getting dangerous, right? We finally see the treasure room in the pyramid. We love that. We love it. We have to find the Book of Ra. We have to, what is it? Save the girl, kill the creature. We love it. We love it when a Magi sacrifices himself. When the priests, because the priests have popped up to become obstacles, because really what this is just we're fighting putties from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yes.
That's really what it is.
They're being controlled by the curse, so now we need the Book of Ra to undo the curse, and really for Jonathan to be able to control them as opposed to Imhotep.
Yes. So what happens? Anck-su-namun's soul gets called back into her mummy. Poor girl. Poor girl. Jonathan ends up finding the book, and he's again reading inscriptions willy-nilly. He's just hey, whatever, it's fine. And he has the as Evie is fighting off Anck-su-namun, he's like, Evie, I can't finish the inscription. What is this? What's this last symbol? That is a direct call. Oh, I say. There is a direct callback to that in The Mummy 2, and it's a huge plot point in the climax of the movie. And it's very fun to see it here again. You're just like, oh. But it's a stork. So Jonathan finishes the inscription so that the palace guards are loyal to what he says. And he says, kill Anck-su-namun. And Anck-su-namun is murdered in the exact same way by the palace guards that she is in the beginning of the book. The shadows, it's the exact same movement from the guard. So that's kind of sad. So Anck-su-namun, she's out.
I mean, just thinking about that, you're like, you brought me back for this shit all over again?
Again? And you didn't even do it again? I'd be so pissed off. But Jonathan has picked the pocket of Imhotep while all this is happening. He has opened the Book of Ra, and he has said, and Evie has said the inscription that takes the immortality of Imhotep Paradus, and he is mortal now. And I think that is very funny because Rick is like, I thought I was going to kill him. And he was like, it made him mortal. And then Imhotep just turns around and immediately runs himself through on Rick's sword. It's just like, oh, you're really bad at being mortal. You didn't even try to so you just right in it. All right.
I also feel like Imhotep probably has been cursed for so long because he's nothing is actually still processing. He understands this soul part of him left him. I guess the immortality left him, but rage is still at the forefront of his mind. So he's not thinking practically.
Rage.
But of course, women are the emotional ones. Sorry.
Well, there you go. Rage. Imhotep falls into the soul pond. Death is only the beginning. Okay. So that's done. That's done. The pyramid, though, starts closing. And while this is happening, Benny has fucked off and he has loaded up some camels with treasure and he's trying to bring back more and come back and bring back more and come back. And he gets stuck and eventually gets left in the treasure room and dies, gets eaten by scarabs. Even though like Rick does try to pull him out. He's like, come on, Benny, come on, come on, come on, come on. And he just doesn't like make it. All right. So the city...
No, I'm thinking about it because it's like you want to hate Benny, but then like the way we keep talking about him, we're like, is he bad or is he just like looking out for number one?
It's looking out for number one.
So it's like you can't like that's why Rick is back and forth because he's like Rick is also looking out for himself a lot of the times too.
Mm-hmm. But Rick is handsome.
Yeah.
He's dash.
He's dreamy.
He's dreamy. So the city collapses. Benny has been eaten by the scarabs.
Or so we think.
So we think the Magi is alive and gorgeous and stunning on his horse, saying that you have earned the respect of me and my people. And Jonathan's like, cool, you're just going to let us like fuck off here and die in the middle of the desert? All right, cool. You know, we didn't get anything. You know, we're leaving empty handed. And Rick's like, I wouldn't say that. And then we start kissing and Jonathan's like, meh. And then we get on our camels and we ride off into the sunset. You know, we're double Dutch on our camels. And then there is a
one
glint.
Horse trope, one camel trope.
Yeah, one camel trope. And then there is a glint and one of the camels has a fuck ton of treasure on the back of it. And that is the end of the movie. It's so fun.
You know how some TV stations, they would play A Christmas Story all day for 24 hours, like the day of Christmas. They should do that with The Mummy. Because I watched this twice back to back and I was like, let's go again.
Let's go again. Oh my God. It is so fun. It is so fun. It is so fun. Okay. I have some fun facts. We have covered some of them. So I am going to try really hard not to repeat them. And then Jess, if you have any, I want to hear them.
Yeah. Go first.
Okay. Fun facts. 6 weeks to write the script. Marrakesh and Sahara, we already did. In the final fight scenes with the extra high priest mummies, Brenden Fraser only had a little bit of time to learn all of that fight choreography and he fucking nailed it. And everyone was like, you did so good. Like, that was amazing. It was with all the little heads and the batting and all of the interaction. And everybody was really impressed because, again, this is one of the first movies that really used motion capture and CGI and like digital cutouts and all of these things. So it was kind of like experimental in its own way. So like seeing how all of this would really look on the screen. It was really kind of a trust the process situation. So that was very fun. Very, very fun. Let's see. 15 million budget on the effects alone. Stephen Sommer pitched this as romantic adventure and not horror because it was always horror. Tom, Brad, Ben were all considered and were not, gonna read for this.
Leo too.
The Port of Giza was filmed in Chatham, United Kingdom. The actor that played Imhotep had to be shaved every single day, which is very funny. One of the cities that they used for this movie is in a crater. And the person that recommended that they film there had previously filmed there when they worked on Star Wars, and that's how they knew about it. Another fun Star Wars fact is one of the extras in the movie is wearing a cloak that was used in a like BBC level plot in Star Wars and is like relatively famous, and no one noticed until it was actually out and all the Star Wars nerds pointed it out. It's very fun. The opening scene is not a lot of CGI. It is mostly miniatures. All of the animals on set hated the actor who played Benny. And Benny, in his final scene, the torch that he uses, as it gets dimmer, he had a dimmer in the torch and he was actually doing it. So when he grabs it with his second hand, he's actually dimming it. And that's why it goes down. Because they shot on location, Jess, as you said, in the desert, the guns would often jam because of the sand. So it was a big problem. And they used a lot of blanks, but blanks are very loud. So in a lot of the shootout scenes, you can see all of the actors wearing earplugs. It was just not something that they could edit out because it was just a lot. It was the 90s. It was a whole thing. The character of Benny in the script was supposed to be like a big Frenchman, but they changed him to Hungarian. And one of the stipulations of this movie is because it is not horror, there is no gore. So while there are bugs and like beetles and, muscle tissue, I guess, there's no blood. There isn't like guts being spewed everywhere. It's just like husky bones. And that was part of the deal that they cut with the studio. Those are all my fun facts.
Those are so cool. I had some of the same, so I took them off the list that I was pulling together. But to add on to the gory, to add on to your blood, they had audience testing for goriness factors, which is one of the fun facts to be like, is this too gory? Because they want to keep within their PG-13 rating that this movie is. Brenden Fraser was cast due to his success in his movie George of the Jungle. The crew couldn't shoot in Egypt because of the unstable political conditions at the time. According to Stephen Sommers, who is the director, Universal phoned him the morning after the movie was released and said, we need another one immediately. As you may or may not know, there was a ride at Universal Studios called The Mummy. It's based off both the first one and the second one. And people would line up for hours at a time, both in California and Florida. And because lines move so slow, part of a fandom experience was that they would say in unison, Emotep, when they're moving in the line and when the line would move. And there's something about fandom experiences that I love. Like, just as a collective, there's that one thing you can share. So that was like a really fun fact, I thought. Was fun to share. In January 2023, so last January, during a double feature showing The Mummy and The Mummy Returns in London, Brenden showed up, surprised the audience in Rick O'Connell costume. And I just love that man. I love that he's having a moment again. He has this resurgence. He's feeling all the love. Every time he's appreciative and grateful, I could listen to him talk about his gratitude all the time. It's so wonderful. A mix of both lion and bear roars were used for the yells and screams of Emotep and the soldier mummies. Then what else do we have? Oh, when Evelyn reads the inscription, "He who shall not be named," on Emotep's sarcophagus, the hieroglyphs used are accurate. The inscription actually translates to the one without a name. So they're pretty similar. Rachel was the only actress offered this part. And it was originally planned to open the film with the old black and white Universal logo that had been used at the beginning of The Mummy from 1932, which would dissolve into the blazing desert. So that was going to be our studio intro. And then Brenden whittled a desert canoe between scenes. Oh,
as you do.
As you do. Of course, because of course he did.
As you do. As you do. Jess, what's your favorite part of this movie?
I can't think of it right now. Oh, I loved the shootout scenes. Every time that there was like a shootout scene, an action-y scene, those are always so great because I knew I was getting both Rachel and Brenden at the same time.
There you go.
What about you?
There you go. I love the race across the desert camel scene where she just shoots past him and he's just like, look at her go. Hey, I think it's adorable. Again, we get both of them in the same scene. I think any scene with the Magi, Rachel, and Brenden, that's the perfect scene. Because just... Why choose?
Why choose?
Why choose?
Every time we have these conversations lately, I feel like I'm sure there's a fanfic for that.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot for this.
I know. I'm like, sure. That's we're going to stay in our fanfic era.
I'm sure there's a lot for this. I'm sure. Again, yes. The triangle is the strongest shape. And I think that is the lesson to be learned from The Mummy, the 1999 hit that tells us you do not have to choose. Because as the Egyptians would tell you, a triangle, like the pyramids, is the strongest shape.
That's why they built the pyramids. That's actually a new fact, new science fact. That's why they built the pyramids. With that being said, feel free to follow us on Instagram. We're at ACOFAE Podcast. We're also on TikTok for, who knows, it's December 2024. ACOFAE Laura and ACOFAE Jessica. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.